100,000, 100,000 plus. So Coach Kelvin Waga is the CEO and founder of two agencies, that is Coach Kelvin Waga Consultancy and Brassibility Digital. But that being said, at some point, I was also a very serious job seeker. At one, maybe when employed, and sometimes I was jobless. So I became jobless for a period of almost 7 to 8 years, whereby I was looking for work, I was sending applications, I was doing whatever I thought possible to seek a job. So I wasn't getting the feedback like I intended to get. So sometimes I get to understand the frustration of being jobless, especially if you have a family to take care of, if you have needs to take care of. And also, job security gives you the courage and it gives you the strength, at least to think objectively. So, being that it's a personal experience, I know whatever it means to job seek, especially sending numerous applications and not getting feedback, trying to apply for thousands and thousands of jobs, but still not being able to get the feedback. It is a very painful experience. And also, you might find that you have a job, but still you're not fulfilled in the job that you're having, and you're looking for a way out. Either you're working in a toxic environment, or you're working in a toxic work environment, or you're not just getting the satisfaction that you need. So waking up to that job you hate each and every morning, at least you get to celebrate when it clicks 5 o'clock in the evening, or maybe on Fridays when you don't have to attend the job anymore. So the experiences are real, but I have both studied what I share with you, and it's also personal experience of exactly, because being jobless got me into depression to an extent that I even contemplated killing myself, because I thought I wasn't good enough and nothing was going to happen in my life. So, having tried it severally, one thing I can tell you for sure, killing yourself is not easy. So I tried severally, but God still had plans for me. So because God saved me from this situation, I dedicated myself that I was going to offer my services to so many job seekers across the globe, so at least they can have positive stories to share and also gain the relevant knowledge. So all we do is not majorly about money, but it's about creating the impact. So this is why I sacrifice my Sundays just to share with us here, at least to give us hope and also to give us insights that can help us uh, forge the way in the job market. So for this case, this is why it's always very important to me, because I get so many reach outs. Hey, Coach Kelvin, help me look for a job. Hey, Coach Kelvin, I've been applying for jobs, but nothing is coming through. Hey, Coach Kelvin, help me with this. Hey, Coach Kelvin, help me with the job interview. But still, I realize that we can reach so many people just by organizing these webinars. And one thing I've also learned, that you might think that you're in a very detrimental situation, only for you to realize that whatever other people are going through, it is something very, maybe very much as compared to what you are going through. So this year, I've dedicated myself that I'm going to do whatever it's possible to hit the 100K mark. And when you talk about the 100K mark, I'm not only talking about the job interviews, I'm talking about the application process, I'm talking about the job search process, I'm talking about the conducive, like the work-life balance. So it is through your help that I can get to make these figures a reality. That being said, I would like now to, as we normally do, I would like to offer the room to at least 3 people to tell us their expectations, and then I'll go directly to my presentation. But allow me give a shout out to somebody who's made this meeting successful. She's worked with me, she's supported me, and she's one of me. That is Mercy. Mercy Kadure, shout out to you. at least in your contribution in making sure that the job seekers get the relevant experience and the exposure they need. So thank you so much, Mercy, for studying with me. That being said, allow me offer this opportunity to around 4 people in brief, just to tell us what they expected, what their expectations are, and then now we'll proceed. I'll kindly ask that either we raise our hands or yeah, we can use the chat session. But I would like to get the voice. So I don't know who wants to go first. You can unmute and speak. Who wants to go first?
Hi.
Hi, yes, Makena.
Hi, my name is Makena Rinjuri. So for me, my expectation is I'm looking to venture into a new path in my career. I've been in the same path for some time, and it has been a bit hard to go to the path that I am seeking. So I'm looking for tips how to manage the CV and how something like that. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Makena. Any other person? Gentleman, if possible. You can just unmute and speak. Hi, gentlemen in the room. Yes, Byron, you can unmute and speak. Byron, Barack, Mutole Brian, who is either of you, okay, anyone can unmute and speak.
This is Barack. I think my expectation is to get to understand how you can juggle from one career to another, one which is academically gained to another which is professionally gained, and what kind of skill sets do you need to portray to make sure that you convince the prospective recruiter that the skills they have and the professional experience you have really makes you fit into the career path or the roles that you would want to pursue in as far as that career is concerned.
Okay, thank you.
So how to make the CV and probably the application to make sure that they speak to that JD. I think that is my greatest expectation.
Thank you, Barack. Any other person, either a lady or a gentleman? Either a lady or a gentleman. Then we begin. All right. The advantages of sometimes raising a voice to speak is it gets easier to get noticed. And when you get noticed, sometimes you might fall the blessings of talent search, but all is fine. So today's presentation was all about the job application process. Are you doing the job application process well? Would it be that the way you apply for these jobs is maybe the root cause as to why you are not getting the interviews? So that is what I want us to delve in today. But before we begin, my sessions, I always like them to be as interactive as possible. So maybe I'll pick at random, at least to find out if we are together. You know, some others, now that you are not using the videos, you might find that some of us are here, but not here with us. So I don't know, how do you normally go through the moment you receive a job advert? What are some of the processes you go through, especially when it comes to the job application? So we can get maybe 2 volunteers to take us through the process, how they do it. Can we get maybe the volunteers to tell us how they do it? And then now I'll come in with the way I think, or the way that I think it's going to work for you in 2024. Esther Kihumba, are you in a position to speak? You can unmute and maybe tell us, how do you go about the job application? What do you do the moment you get the job advert? Esther, you can unmute. As we wait for Esther to unmute, we can have Sharon. Sharon? So far, I think we only have one Sharon in the meeting. So would you mind unmuting and maybe taking us through? Tentatively, you can utilize the chat session. It's not a must to speak. We can utilize the chat session so that at least we also get to save on time. Today I'm having, is it shy people within the session? Okay, Esther is not in a position to speak. Yes, Mary?
All right, good evening, everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Okay, for me, I'll start by checking whether the advert is legit, by checking maybe most probably through the website for that particular company that has advertised for the job. Then I will go through the JD, the job description, on what is required, the requirements, the skill sets, and the qualifications. Then from there, I will match my CV to whatever is required to make sure that I tweak it in a way it will be speaking for me as pertains to that particular job application. Then I will also work on my cover letter. Then after that, I'll do my application. Normally, that's my process, Kelvin.
Thank you so much, Mary. Barak, how do you do it? Barak, how do you do it? I don't know why my eyes today is on Barak.
No, I think it's to my advantage, Kelvin, because you'll get to correct me firsthand. Yeah, so very much close to what is it? Was she called Mercy or I can't remember her name. Mary has highlighted. I confirm on the legitimacy of the advert. Go through the JD. Go through the person requirements or qualifications, and then I initially used not to write anything down. Feel like I could feed it into my brain almost immediately, but after the last session that we had with you, I now adopted a process where I jot down the JD and then subject them to what the skill sets and the qualifications I have. Then I relook at my CV, confirm whether it is aligned. If it is not aligned, I try to align it, and then thereafter, for the cover letter, I have quite a bit of templates. As I said, as I wrote yesterday, I've had 10 rejects, rather 10. Is it called what? 10 regrets over the last 2 months. So at least you can imagine the number of letters I've done. So I kind of adopt those letters, try to speak and respond to what has been put in the JD, and then I make my application.
Okay, thank you so much, Barak. Mercy. Okay, thank you. Mercy, before you became the virtual assistant, how are you handling the job application process? At least let my people get to hear your voice. Some of them only get to read your text on LinkedIn. Yes, Mercy.
Hi, Coach.
Hi, hi.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are.
Mine is quite similar to, was it Mary's? Yeah, Mary.
Uh-huh.
So I first try to confirm the legitimacy of the advert. That is particularly through the website of the company that has the career vacancy. And then I go through if it's legitimate, I go through the specifications, the job description, and the skills they need. And then I can write my cover letter and even the resume towards whatever is needed for the job before applying.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
Thank you. One gentleman, Dairas from Uganda.
Good evening, everyone on call.
Good evening.
I'm Darius. Yeah. So whenever I land on an application, on an advert, I look at the company. Then I also look at the product or service that this company provides. Then I look at the skills and experience needed for the role. Also look at actually the role, what actually needs to be done. Then from there, I look at my previous applications and CVs. Then I edit them to match them with what is needed on the advert. Then I send the application. That's all.
Okay, thank you so much, Darius. So I tend to agree with what all of us have said, but sometimes you find it's always applicable just when you are speaking. But when you're applying for these positions, sometimes we trust so much on luck in that let me just use what I have. Maybe I might be lucky enough to get noticed by the selection panel. So not so many of us go through the process of matching their CVs and the job adverts. And it's always very, very important, especially when it comes to the language the job advert is using, the tone the job advert is using, and the key skills that they are looking for. It's always very paramount that you pick from the job advert, the key skills, and then integrate it into your profile summary. That is the first thing that you're supposed to do. As you do that, okay, so as you do that, you'll get that it will give you an added advantage. It will give you an added advantage. And when you talk about an added advantage is that when they start reading your resume, somebody has not muted. If it's you, kindly do so. Or I don't think the sound is on my side. Or Patrick. Okay, so the moment you pick the key skills, the experience that they're looking for, and integrate it into your profile summary, and then you get to maybe pick the skills or from the JD and use it to tailor make it into the language that they're using. It will always be very key for you to get noticed. And that being said, today's training, I just choose the title, but I wanted to do something differently. And by doing something differently is there's a way we are looking for jobs, especially on LinkedIn and all these other platforms, that is not giving us maybe the mileage that we are looking for. In 2024, many companies and many hiring talents are searching for candidates on LinkedIn. And these are the professional platforms. And what it takes is before you tell me how good you are, at least I have to see an evidence that replicates what you're talking about. And one of the mistakes that I've seen with most job seekers, you realize that on LinkedIn and maybe on their personal branding, they are not doing what is required enough to at least establish or to at least establish themselves as key voice or key leaders in their industries. So that is what I wanted to talk about. On LinkedIn, as you prepare to apply for the job that you're applying for, as you prepare to reach out to network with as you prepare to reach out and network with others, maybe to recommend you or give you the job, what exactly are you supposed to do as a job seeker to help you stand out and to help these people find you, such that when they call you for an interview, it is not more of to know who you are, but more of how can we work together and what are your terms of reference. So allow me share that document. And what my call is that we try to emulate. Once this is done, maybe I can dive into what other people requested. So we are in a very competitive job market, whereby standing out from the crowd is always the key. You'll find that many professionals nowadays are looking for innovative and outgoing candidates, maybe to fill in their position. So if you're looking for professional opportunity, don't let just your application speak for you, but you need to do extra to ensure that you stand out, to ensure that at least if you're an expert in an industry, you can share your thoughts, you can share your maybe we can see, you are going to see all through this session what are some of the things that you can share, so that when you send somebody an application or when you send somebody a CV, at least you'll have to grab their attention. So number one is you need to start a professional podcast. And when you talk about podcast, some of us might be like, I'm not a content creator. Are we on LinkedIn? You've revamped your LinkedIn. Your LinkedIn section maybe has it has a professional outlook. You've paid either somebody to do it for you or you've learned how to do it by yourself. But when I get to your profile, what I'll find is maybe you've either reposted comments or you've reposted the content you made on other people's posts, or you've reposted something that you found maybe valuable or something that you found shareable. But there's nothing that clearly speaks about your area of expertise. If I get to your profile, so I have to read maybe through your highlights, and then if you've enabled those other sections, maybe read through your about section and experience, just to get to find out who you are. Many talent recruiting agencies, what they want to find out is, are you able to walk the talk? As a job seeker is very, very paramount. Some of us believe that the moment we turn on the blue badge on our profiles, that is a ticket enough for us to get to notice. But ask yourself, every time you spend your time on that platform, how many people do you see with that particular badge? So you need to do something that at least will get to show these people that you are a thought leader, and you can do this through sharing your you can do this through either starting maybe posting a day either periodic content on this platform. You can even start a YouTube channel. The good thing with nowadays is you don't need a lot of things maybe to start this. Having a WordPress website is something for free. Maybe having LinkedIn articles is something for free.
Endo kalale Christine.
Hi Margaret.
Kaleka beshte sasa juu.
Hi Margaret, kindly mute. Hi Margaret.
Anataka nini mayai? Endo upikiwe basi.
Okay. So as a job seeker, you need to create content, and content is key, because it is through your content that you'll get to be identified with. When I talk about content here, I'm not talking about just leaving comments, I'm looking for a job, reaching out of DM, I'm looking for a job, or technically sharing maybe open to work positions, maybe post on your platform. Talk about those things that are key, that showcase maybe your areas of expertise, so that at least you can get to develop a voice. I know you might be asking me, how can I share content and yet I am jobless? There are these skill set that we keep on talking about. And this skill set, how do you think your expertise can be advantage either to an organization A or an agency B? Just write about how, like whatever you bring to the table, you can share either a personal story, or you can share how you handled a situation that might be related in one way or the other to what maybe the companies are going with. So it's very key to start a professional podcast. But if you cannot start a professional podcast, there are other things that you need to, that still you can do to ensure that you keep at par with the organization. So if you are following this conversation today, you really need to work on, and I'm really banking on LinkedIn, because many people are being poached and outsourced through LinkedIn. And the only way a recruiter will get into your inbox is by finding that you share valuable content. If you need help, maybe by sharing this valuable content, you can book for a session with me, and I'll take you through how you can make your profile vibrant. But that still said, we have a training that is upcoming maybe next week. And if you become that part of training, you'll get it so easy for you to maneuver and find ways of creating content. Number two, you need to become an expert on the company. So when I talk about becoming an expert in the company, like people like hiring interesting individuals that maybe ask over the box, outside the box kind of questions. So for you to become an expert, for instance, you can do an analysis for a company Z, and then maybe after doing that analysis, you do your due diligence, and then you find out like their weaknesses or their threats, and then you position yourself as somebody who can do that. And how do you do this? You get armed with the insights that can help your personal attribute, skills, and experience contribute to solving the problem of that organization. Each and every one of us, we are wired differently. And when I talk about being wired differently, what I mean is we have a unique set of skills. There's something at least that we can do to our level best. And if you have something that I'm looking for, it will be very key for me to get to hire you. I'm not saying that you go to somebody's website and start saying that maybe the pictures, the images they put there, they are not maybe handsome. They need to look for handsome people to put there. But I'm looking for, through utilizing your experience, either on the social platforms, their Google review platforms, you'll find people complaining about maybe the way they conduct, the way they deliver their services. You might find people complaining about their customer service experience. You can find people complaining about maybe there's one area in their service delivery that they are not doing good. And then come up with solutions, like you can craft them and then position yourself as an expert in that particular field. Remember what I said when you are starting, that job seeking nowadays is not about just sending resumes and then hoping that you'll be called for an interview. There are so many, like the job market is flooded nowadays with so many potential and well-experienced job seekers. So sometimes it might become very difficult for you to either get an inroad through how do I call it, through just sending applications. Yet we are going to see for this point number 2, how can you reach? Because somebody might ask me, yes, I might go do my due diligence, and then how do I reach this organization? How do I get to present maybe my findings and position myself as an expert? As we go through this, I think I'm going to highlight on how you can do that. The next most important thing is personal branding. Personal branding is always key. And personal branding is, when I talk about the personal branding, this is the story you want other people to say about you. Like when somebody look at you, when somebody maybe get to experience a one-on-one with you, what kind of story or what kind of impression do you want these people to go with you? So having a powerful personal brand will help you gain attention, like become a magnet to maybe this talent search or the recruiting agency on LinkedIn, as in on LinkedIn or on this other platform. The reason as to why I'm banking on LinkedIn is LinkedIn has so much high potential. And when I talk about potential is there's no red tape in LinkedIn. As long as you know how to find your way, you can reach anyone on LinkedIn the way you like it. And before you reach these people on LinkedIn, you need first of all to at least have that brand that you need to have that brand that will make you attractive, either to the person that you wish to reach out to, or something that will make you maybe be interesting to an extent that somebody can spare their time, either to give you an audience through their inbox or any other, maybe phone call or even book an appointment. So reiterating on that, being active is all about you need to be creating the original content. And when we talk about original content, with as much as sometimes we tend to get, we want so many followers, I would urge that you you can research what maybe your leaders in your industry have done, or the people you look up to, or the people you're looking up to have done. How do they do their things? How do they put out their content? And then now you borrow a leaf from them and start creating original content. I've seen people sharing, maybe if you find something trending, you want to share it so that at least you get likes, followers, or even grow the number of engagements that you have. But as a job seeker, putting yourself outside the marketplace depends with how well you brand yourself. So create original content that will help you showcase your level of expertise. And then if you get a post that maybe had maybe a high rate of engagement, you can put it on the feature section, or sometimes you can repost it periodically just for people to get to notice you. And as you do this content, is always key. It is always important that you get to either tag these organizations that you target, as in that you intend to maybe work with, or you look forward to working with, or find individual working in that industry and tag them in your post. In that, when you tag them in your post, or tag them in the post that you create, at least you'll get some level of you'll get some added advantage. And when I talk about added advantage here, if the organization, let's say something, for instance, you are a sales expert and you think your sales skills and expertise can help organization propel and grow their sales. Write an article, write a post on maybe the step that they need to take, write maybe a review of maybe the way a review of how you help save a situation using your expertise, and get to tag these people. I'm very sure if you have a solution to my problem and you get to tag me, the moment I'll get to read the first paragraph of your stories, it will be easier for me to get to give you an audience. The mistake that we do is you'll find that somebody will spam you with a lot of tags, in that somebody has written a post that is not related to what you're doing. But now each and every time they get on to tag over maybe 20 or 40 people, and they continue tagging people in the comment section. The moment you do that to me, I'll know that whatever you are looking for is just an highlight or maybe get the visibility, but you clearly does not have you don't have the eye for attracting or maybe networking properly. So as a job seeker, ensure that your personal brand is consistent. And when I talk about consistent personal brand, this is what will help you grow on LinkedIn. I have seen people like Nicodemus Were that just came the other day. They are doing so well on LinkedIn. I've seen people like Akina Masi, I've seen people like so many of them are creating content. They're creating valuable content that are engaging with, like that help engage with other people's content, so that the more these people get to read what you post, the more your profile will get shown to so many people, and the more you'll get to increase your visibility. So as a job seeker, ensure that you work on the personal branding. And in our premium classes, what we talk about is how do you brand yourself as a job seeker? And branding does not only cut through to LinkedIn. We go to an extra mile and see, even on your CV, how do you implement the personal branding when it comes to your profile? When it comes to your profile. Okay. There's something we call a value-based digital portfolio. Sometimes when we get to network with people on LinkedIn, or sometimes when we get to network with people we meet in an event, we think that our CV will speak for us. But what I can tell you that having a digital portfolio that showcases, for instance, who you are, what you can do, and the values you bring to the table will give you an added, like it will escalate things for you, and it will make the employers get to at least maybe develop interest on you. So in 2024, like the employers are looking for people who are not only have the technical skills, but they're looking for people who have the soft skill and people who can demonstrate their leadership competency. So in this job market today, we have things like empathy, vulnerability, transparency, accuracy, as such of critical element in a high performance performing organization. So if you're looking forward to how do I create a value-based digital portfolio, so that instead of sending my CV, I can send a digital portfolio showcasing what I have done, what I'm able to do, and the value I bring to your organization. So the next thing you need to show is how your aspiration align with the company growth. So you need to show a clear alignment between your professional growth and the company aspiration and the company growth. So you need to emphasize the commitment. Like for instance, you need to emphasize the commitment to continuous improvement and adaptability. So illustrate the past experiences of proactively seeking growth and contribution. As a job seeker, sometimes the way we do our CVs, the way we do our content does not align with the way maybe the company's culture or the company's growth is. And this is why it is very important that you get time to understand the role you're in, the role you're applying for. What does it like? What exactly do they need from you? And how can you position yourself to the company to show them that whatever your aspirations are in tandem with their personal, like with their company culture and also their company growth. You need to make your application memorable. So in making your application memorable, like you need to share, for instance, the document that you share, be it the CV, be it the cover letter. Let it be memorable to the person reading your document. And in the instances, I think in the last 4 sessions that we've had, we've talked about how to create the memory. We've talked about how to create the memory you want, how to create how to create either cover letter or a CV that attracts to maybe the job that you're applying for. So in this case, like you need to make it well articulated and use the keywords that you are talking about, so that when I read through your cover letter, let's say, for example, I've done a post outside there, maybe welcoming people to the training. What I need to find in you is that you're the best candidate. And when I talk about being the best candidate, what I want to know is, are you able to be the candidate I'm looking for? Am I able to find the candidate I'm looking for just by reading your document? The next thing that you can do also as a job seeker is you need to become a micro influencers. So micro influencers, let's take for an example, you've established yourself as an expert in that field, and you're looking maybe Safaricom as a program maybe of supporting youth, and you are the best project manager that they might be looking for. So what can you do? You can highlight the project that they're doing to your post, and then get to tag them, either to come, get to tag them in the content that you are creating. The good thing, if you become consistent with the content that you create, you'll develop an online audience. And the moment you develop an online audience, you'll have the numbers. So if you have these as particular organizations that you'd like to work with, it will come to your advantage that when you become a micro-influencer to them, you might gain their attention, and they might even be in a position either to call you for an interview or technically to give you the job that you are looking for. So it's always paramount. Also, you have the key, like for the industry that you want to work with, identify them, and then ask yourself that the kind of content I create through either YouTube, podcast, or even on my LinkedIn, how can I tag these people to at least see that at least I'm trying to, I don't know what just happened, but I don't know what just happened, but it's like I got kicked out of my own meeting. If you're able to hear me, please let me know so that I don't end up talking to myself. We can utilize the chat session.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Where was I? Yes, the next thing that you need to do is you need to share your expertise on social media. And when you talk about sharing your expertise, I'm not talking about maybe posting, copy pasting things from your CV and posting them to the social media pages. And when I talk of social media, I want us to put our focus either on LinkedIn, because this is a professional a platform of professionals where they get to notice you. So for you to be noticed during the job hunt, it's very important to position yourself as an expert. And the only way to position yourself as an expert is by sharing your experience. And when it comes to sharing your experience, either you have dealt with a technical situation, or maybe their contribution, the project that you did that was successful. So you can share your personal story in regards to the experience that you have and how you've utilized these experiences to help solve problem or to create solutions. So as a job seeker, if this is something that you need to do, let us know, just not by reading through your profile and about section. Let us know, get to know what have you done with your experience. And the good thing with this, it always makes the interview easier. And when I talk about making the interview easier, I mean that you'll find that when I've learned much about you on this platform, the only thing that I'll be asking you is how much do you charge, or how much would you like to be paid for us to work together. So showcase these experiences. You can list them down. If, for instance, if you're still working and looking for a job at the same time, sometimes it's always important to highlight whatever you're doing in your current company, the current workplace, or maybe the workplace that you are, the previous workplace. So just get experience that will be memorable and share these experiences out. What I can tell you that when you start, you might encounter maybe the low visibility, the low traffic, but this should not discourage you. You can even start one post a week. You can even start maybe one post after every 2 weeks, two posts after every 2 weeks, or even 3 posts, and then you maintain the momentum. If you're having troubles on how you can maybe implement this content creation, maybe in the future I might come up with a class just on how to help you. What kind of content can you create as a job seeker to gain make you gain the visibility that you are looking for? But still, you can book on a one-on-one session with us just to get to know. The advantage of the reason as to why I keep on touching on the premium version is sometimes on the premium versions we get to do this one practically, so that at least you can see how they are being done. But that one does not mean that maybe in one of our upcoming sessions, we might just get to have a session that deals with content creation. It's always very important also to articulate your point of view. Your point of view, especially to the current trends related to things that affect us on the day-to-day lives. So sharing your perspective always can give you an added advantage. So by sharing your perspective, either you can do this by writing through stories. You can just do this either by maybe creating relevant content that share, like, for instance, if there's something going on, this time right round, we're having maybe floods around the country. As an expert who has a solution, what do you think can be done differently? Or what is your addition, like what is your point of view in whatever the relevant authorities are doing to maybe contain the situation? So sharing your point of view is always key. And sharing your point of view, this is also whereby you get to throw in the kind of experiences, the kind of the skills that you have, and then challenge yourself to share uniqueness and see how it resonates with the audience that is you target with the kind of content you create. Build and rebuild networks. The reason as to why so many people get depressed when they lose their job, or the reason as to why so many job seekers send numerous applications, but they are not getting return, is they are relying on the networks some of them created a few years ago or maybe few months ago. As a job seeker, at least you should ensure that you maintain and build these networks. And when we talk about building this network, this is where you get to utilize LinkedIn. Coach Kelvin has shared his personal story of how he maneuvered, how he got to overcome depression, and how he got to get a job. This is now an opportunity to get in touch with Coach Kelvin, or to get in touch with McKenna, Darius, or any other person. I am currently in the situation that you're going through. Do you mind sharing the steps that you went through? The moment I give you an audience, it's now very easy to communicate to me because I have opened the door. But the moment I open the door and the only thing you're asking me either is kindly help me look for a job. I have the experiences that might make me the best candidate. Would you please maybe give me a position in your company? You've not created the rapport that will make myself open to listening and giving you maybe the advices. So networking is very key in 2024, and in the current age that we are living in that it gives you the opportunity. It gives you the opportunity to learn. It gives you the opportunity to market and network with people in authority, and it also opens the door for you in that if there's a referral, if there's an opening in an organization, because of the rapport you created, instead of them sending the application out there, maybe the CEO, the COO, or maybe the CFO, or even the CEO can say, I have somebody I've been in touch with. I think this person would be the perfect candidate for me. It's not a must. It's not a must that you network for that. Is like, I'm not saying it's a bad thing to ask for open positions, but what I'm saying, it is very important. Even as you ask for this open position, you need to do it in such a way that at least you first create the rapport. After creating the rapport, now it will be easier now for you to ask. I'll use this one as an example. If you're a lady, sorry, if you're a lady or a gentleman, sorry for the example that I'm going to use. If you're pursuing, for instance, you are pursuing a lady, and then the first thing when you meet, the first thing that you ask either a lady or a gentleman is, hey, can we go out and make out? You see, it might be a turn off to either the party which is involved. Why is it a turn off? Because at least I don't know who you are. I've not created a rapport with you. I don't have feelings for you. So this is what happens when you just reach out to a stranger. And then I have the experiences that you have. Can you please kindly maybe give me a position in your company? First of all, get to develop that relationship, get to nurture that relationship, get to get to be friends with this person. And the way you can do this is sometimes if you go through somebody's platform, you can identify an interesting story or an interesting section, maybe on their platforms that they have. This can be a personal story. This can be maybe a success story. It can be a personal motivational story. It can be the failures they had to go through. It can be the comebacks. And then now you start a conversation with these people based on this. And I've seen so many people done it. So many people on LinkedIn have closed me in several locations. Hi, Coach Kelvin. Thank you so much for what you're doing and the knowledge you're sharing outside here. I am in the position where you are right now, and I would just love to know how did you go about it? And this is the moment somebody tells me that, because I cannot sit on the computer and type, either what I'll do, I'll ask them for their phone number, or I'll give them my phone number to call me. And when they call me, now we start talking, and they'll get to share their stories. Because they've mastered the art of networking so well, they take me step by step until sometimes I get to, some of them get to book appointments to meet me in my office. By the time we are meeting in my office, I've already made these people my friends, and in a position that when somebody asks me for something, it's like I've known these people for quite a very long time. So building and rebuilding networks is always key for job seekers. And this can be done through interactions to other people's posts, attending, maybe if you go to the networking sessions, at least once you've researched, if you've seen, for instance, there's a conference going to happen somewhere. It's a free conference. You find something about the speakers. You can do your research and then now see how to start conversation with these guys. Hi, Chandari. The other day I read something so interesting about you. I didn't know this about your childhood. Could you please just share with me, how are you able to overcome this? And because you've done your due diligence, I've seen, oh, this is exactly how to start a conversation with these guys. You'll get my interest because this person has even gone a step ahead to find that, to do their research and find this about me. I'll open myself to you and we'll start storing. I can even prepare like 5 sets of questions I'm going to ask different people in that organization, so that when you give me your business card, it can be easier for me now to start the conversation, because at least I have a reference point. Much on this networking, I'm going to share on our subsequent session, and I'm also going to share about in the 2-day premium session that we are going to have. Then you need to highlight your KPIs, and you talk about KPIs is for instance, if I were to employ you, what are some of the things that I can use to get your success? So once you give me your KPIs in advance, it is very easy for me now to at least have expectation about you, and it's easier for me to at least trust you, because at the end of it all, at least I have the key performance indicators that I will use to gauge you. Then understanding the current trend is always key. And when I talk about understanding the current trends, is You need to understand the current trends in the organizations or in the industries that you intend to work with, so that when you establish relationships with these people, or when you send out your CV, at least you need to position yourself as a person who clearly understand what is going on within their industries, and this will give you leverage. So these were just some of the few things I thought important to share today. But one thing I need also to share with the job seekers is there's one thing that you need to take charge in. When I talk about the current trends, what I'm talking about here is you need to be well adept with the current trends. For instance, in this era, in this maybe the season, the second quarter that we are in, which sector is doing well? Is it the e-commerce sector? Is it the tech sector? Is it the agricultural sectors? When you get this knowledge, it becomes easy for you to know who is hiring. And then you'll be targeting this organization either in regards to your experience and your skill set, because just applying for jobs blindly will not open the door for you. But once you get to know, if for instance it is a thriving moment for e-commerce industry, so as chief accountant, maybe as a digital marketer, maybe as an admin, maybe as a project management, or maybe as a branch manager, which of these maybe sectors can I apply? The challenge that we have is we want to apply to everything that comes our way, whether the industry is doing well or not. So it becomes like you'll find that not so much, or not the organizations that we intend to work with, or the industry that we tend to work in, are not maybe in the thriving moments. So it's key that you do your research and then find out. It's key that you do your research and then find out the industries that are doing well, and then now you tailor your applications to those industries. That being said, thank you once more for getting the opportunity to do this. Abruptly, allow me to touch on the question that, before I open the floor, allow me to touch on the question that one of us asked. Allow me to touch, I'm trying to access the message sections. I'm trying to see, somebody asked about, okay, what makes a cover letter catchy? And a CV tells the hiring parties why you are the perfect candidate for the job. But the cover letter tells them why you need the job. So what makes the cover letter catchy is, what do you bring to the table? And when you talk about what you bring to the table, you need to express this one in such a way that you intermarry it with the skills. I think after this session today, I'm going to share a link. You can share your email address. And then once you've shared your email address, I'll be able to send maybe a template, something I don't do much, template on the cover letter and a template on the resume, so that at least you can use that one to either gauge. So maybe after this, I'll advise on where to send the emails. But your cover letter, what makes it catchy is what makes you the best candidate for this job. So technically, that is what you answer in your cover letter. Why do you think you're the best candidate for this job? So once you've highlighted that clearly, it becomes now something catchy to the organization or to the hiring parties to get to understand you. There's some questions somebody else asked me. Okay, that means I'm opening the floor to the sessions, to the questions. At least we can tackle a few. As we wait for the questions, yes, we are having the premium version, and the premium version is upcoming on 9th of next month. And one advantage, I can share one advantage of the premium version, the session, the first cohort that we had, at least we've gotten like 6 successful stories Either some have gotten interviews, either some have aced the interviews, either some are in the process of interviewing. I would really love to have you in the session so that we can go through step-by-step processes on how you can either ace your interviews, on how you can fast-track your job application process, and on how you can do that. So I've been sharing the platform. This second cohort is going for 1,200 Kenya shillings, and the 1,200 Kenya shillings, what does it entail? First of all, it entails the job search strategies. Number two, it entails the job application process. And then finally, it entails the job interview preparations. And when you are well equipped with these three things, the good thing with whatever you learn in the master classes and in the webinars is it's something that you can use continuously. So we only have, I don't know, right now, I'm not sure, but the last time I checked, we had only around 17 spots left because we are taking 25 per session. And I'm really looking forward to that. So let me open the floor to questions. We can take a few questions. So if you have a questions you'd like to share, you can either raise your hand and mute your mic and speak. Thank you. If you have a question, you can unmute yourself, or tentatively you can utilize the chat section. Any question? Something that you'd like me to cover? Okay. I'm tending to assume there is no question. Any question? Any question? Okay, that is fine. So I would just like feedback is key. And feedback, I'm going to give like 3 people to give us their feedback on today's short session, what you are able to learn, and at least are you going out of this meeting a different person? Yes, I'll give the first opportunity to Kisato. Maybe you can give your feedback on today's session. Kisato, you can unmute and speak.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you so much for what you are doing for us. It's a great pleasure. Today's sessions has been a bit complicated to me, but I've grabbed some 1, 2, 3 things that can help me. Though I'll need more training because I'm just a beginner. This is my second webinar to join. At least I'm growing and I'm also working on the confidence.
Okay, when you talk about complicated, what do you mean?
What I mean is that on content creating, there are some of us who are not well conversant with the internet. Okay, not internet, but being on the internet, we are not confident, we are shy. So that's a challenge that you've given me. I need to learn myself more often.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Who do I pick? Who do I pick? Who do I pick? By the way, we've worked with Mary. Mary, we've worked with on several locations. Maybe Mary can share something. Mary was in the premium sessions and we've been working maybe in the background. So I don't know, Mary, you can kindly unmute and share with us your experience so far.
Okay. Thanks, Kelvin. So I must say that the premium sessions have really helped me. I think I joined the second, was it the second cohort, Kelvin? Yeah, it was the second one. And
the first.
I was able to know, it was the first, sorry.
Yes.
I think time is running very fast. Yeah, it's the first one. The sessions help me to know how to market myself when I'm doing my job searches. In that, as Kelvin has been putting it, we got to understand what we are looking for. the value add, what we are bringing onto the table, because the employers are looking for that value add that they don't have. They're not just there to fill in spaces for their organizations, but they are looking for value add. What is this that she's coming or he's coming with on the table that we do not have? So that was a pointer that I didn't know. I was just marketing myself in a way that has been the old school. I didn't know I have to place my value add first. As today's session, you are reminding us to show what is it that we have. How do we market? How do we stand out? That was one thing of value add. The second one was the one of not crafting one CV to suit everything. I used to only tweak it a bit when I'm looking for a different position, because I wear many hats. And so depending on the position I'm applying for, then I would tweak very little. I would do very little. And I think that is why there was quite a bit of a challenge for me even to get to the interview rooms. But when I sat with Kevin and the sessions, I've seen this a bit of improvement last week. Was it last week? No, this week. Earlier this week, we had a session. I had a session with Kelvin. And surprisingly, after that, I got a recruiter who reached out, but we've not taken it very far. So most probably, I'm hoping by this week or from tomorrow, I will hear more from them. So I must say that the sessions are really an eye opener, and they are very good nuggets we are getting from those premium sessions. And I would urge all of us to have at least to attend a session, and you will see you will not be where you were before you attended the session. Now, Kelvin, for today, as the lady who spoken said, not all of us who are tech savvy and who are so much on the social, we might not be able to know what is this to share, where and when. For podcasts, for YouTube, it could be a challenge for maybe a few of us. I don't know. I won't talk about the rest, but at least now I am together with the lady who's just spoken. Maybe if you could give us another session, if at all time allows, maybe in the course of the week or over the weekend, to try and understand. Mary is this person, this is her brand, or my personal brand is this. How does she market it digitally? How does she do a podcast? How does she do it on YouTube? So that now we can be working together. I think that's what I can say. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Mary. We can still utilize the chat session, at least to share your experience. I'll definitely do that because that is something I'm so much passionate about. Who do I talk? Who do? Yes, Monica. Have you grabbed something today? Here, Monica Balera. Maybe you can unmute and speak.
Hello.
Hello.
Right. It's just that I have not paid so much attention. I haven't paid so much attention because I'm having two simultaneous meetings. That's why. But it will be done in 5 minutes. We'll be done here, and then I'll be able to pay you more attention. Kindly.
Okay. I will have a recording. I think I'll also get to share soon. Mwendwa.
Please share.
Okay, thank you. Mwendwa, you can unmute and speak. As we wait for Mwendwa, Amos Musioka, do you want to say something? Yes, Darius. Darius?
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Yes, thank you for today's session. It was very informative, and I have learned so much about networking, the podcast, and personal branding. Thank you, and God bless you for the good work you're doing.
Thank you so much, Amos. Then finally, Darius. from Uganda. You can unmute. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kelvin.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, I learned a lot from this call. What I realized that I'm really not so good when it comes to LinkedIn. Actually, when you check my LinkedIn, you find that it is really wanting, depending on, like looking at what you are teaching us. I'm really far. If you rate out of 10, I think I'm around 4%. So I'm around 4 out of 10. So I think I need to really work so hard on my LinkedIn profile.
Thank you, Darius. Then finally, Barak.
Thank you, Kelvin. I think the session was very insightful. As again, I think as most of the speakers have said, there's still a lot of gaps that we have. Maybe solely because you're at some point you may not be sure whether what you are posting is an authority in the industry. So there's always the question of, am I posting the right thing? Does it really show that I understand what the industry is talking about? So I think it's a challenge that you've given unto us. And what it also boils down to is that we also still need to read a lot so that we are able to keep up to what the industry trend is saying. But the question I also had is, if we keep on tailor-making our CVs to every job application that we do, how does that work out with the profile on LinkedIn? Does the profile also need to change, or how can we make the profile in such a way that when somebody goes to my profile and then also goes back to the CV that I use for an application, they are saying that yes, they are seeing some synergy in the two. So I think that is one area that personally I'm struggling with, so that if I make my CV speak to the language of the advert of a particular organization, do I also need to do that on the LinkedIn profile, or should the LinkedIn profile remain as is? How do I juggle in between? Maybe that is a question that whether you can give us some answer.
Okay, thank you, Barak. Sharon?
Yes, Coach, I'm here.
Yes, I'm
Yes, let me first thank you for passionately taking this journey seriously, and your vision of impacting 100,000 job seekers. It's coming to be a reality. So let me say what I know now is what I knew like 2 years ago. It would have made a lot of big difference. So sometimes we might be making some mistakes because of lack of knowledge, but from the last session we had with you, the premium session, it is really eye-opening on the mistakes we are doing on these job applications and job seeking. And I hope and I trust that by the time these sessions are over, we will be very transformed job seekers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sharon. Monica, I'm seeing your hands up. Do you want to say something? Okay. To answer Barak, there's one thing, like there are areas that you stand out on LinkedIn, like in terms of your skill set and in terms of your expertise. Your LinkedIn can remain constant, but the job you're applying for can keep on changing. The reason of creating a personal brand is how would you like people to see you? And when I talk about how you like people to see you, what I mean is at least they should have an impression about you. And while reflecting this one on LinkedIn, what you need to do is you need to ensure that your LinkedIn stands out. such that when I see Barak, I can relate Barak to anything accounting. When I see Barak, I should be able to relate Barak with something customer service. So when it comes to now the nitty-gritties of this customer service, the nitty-gritties of administration, that is now where your job application comes in. But your LinkedIn should be stable. You should have a LinkedIn that speaks your personal brand. The only thing that you can tweak here and there is your job application. So you don't need to you need to find out what makes you the strong, like what are the core experience and core skill sets that you perform, and how would you like people to see you on LinkedIn? Then you make that one constant. But on the job application is now you can tweak a few things here and there. And I'm sure that if you continue attending the classes and the session, you'll find it easy. Even the content that you'll create will stand out for you, and it will speak for you on your LinkedIn. And this can even be as a magnet to these recruiting agencies to see you. I don't know if I've answered your question. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's right. I get you.
Thank you so much. I'm only having one ask. I'm building my brand on Google. I'm also working on my website, but I would really love if you found this session maybe helpful. I'll share a link in the group. You can kindly leave me a Google review, and I will highly appreciate. Otherwise, thank you so much. I think from next week, we'll be inviting other speakers also to come and share with us their experiences, to share with us their expertise, so that at least we broaden our knowledge. But I'm really looking forward to meeting this target, and it cannot be possible without you guys. Thank you so much for creating time. Thank you so much for listening in. I know it's always not easy preparing to start the week, but you still create time to speak. Technically, you can tell me which is the best time to do it, either Saturday or Sunday, and then we can deliberate on that. Thank you so much, and I really appreciate. So maybe we can get a volunteer to, Monica, you still want to say something? I can see your hand is up. Okay, if not, can we get maybe a volunteer to maybe close for us?
My question was,
yes.
I just need a clarification.
Yes.
A clarification on my profile on LinkedIn, and then there's the question of the CV. Well, you have tried to shed some light on it, but still there's a challenge because you are told to customize your CV. You're probably looking for a teaching job. One school will say they do Cambridge, another school will say they're doing IB, another school will, a variety of curriculums all over, and you're a qualified teacher, right? Now this CV thing comes a challenge because every other time you have to keep twisting your, well, is it the CV or the resume? You need to keep twisting your resume a little bit just to fit in with the requirements of this advert, of the job vacancy, right? So it is kidogo iko tricky anyway, kidogo iko tricky. So tulikuwa nataka clarification. We are glad you talked about it. There's this other guy who's also spoken about it. Well, I think we know how to go about it a little bit. 100% no, but
yes, I think what I can say is there's a way you can tweak in your CV, and that you don't have to tweak it every now and then. You apply jobs in regards to the skill sets that you have. Maybe you have the accounting skills, you have the HR skills, you have these other kinds of skills. You can have, you can tweak the CV in regards to the skill sets that you have, so that when you get this, you're applying, like, let's say for an example, you've applied for accountant position in company X, and then you've applied, like a company Z announces the same application. In one way or the other, you'll find that whatever is in your CV will clearly reflect what they want. But if you applied for accounting with if you apply for customer service with accounting CV, that is now where I say you need to keep on at least tweaking your CV here and there. But if it's the same
Okay.
positions, you just need to check if things are aligning. Sorry. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So can we get a volunteer that to close for us with a word of prayer? Who will pray for us? Okay, Sharon, do you mind praying for us for the 4th time?
No problem.
Okay.
Okay, let's believe and pray. Father, in the mighty name of Jesus Christ, we want to thank you for this evening. We want to thank you for this opportunity, King of Jehovah, Father. We have had a very wonderful moment, a very wonderful opportunity, King of Jehovah, Father, as the coach has taught us, King of Jehovah, Father, on ways of doing this jobs application. May you go ahead of us. May your presence be with us. We want to thank you for this night, King of Jehovah, Father. As we go to sleep, bless each and every one of us. As we congregate back here, King of Jehovah, Father, to give successful stories, King of Jehovah, Father, we shall honor and exalt your holy name. We honor and we thank you. And this is our prayer. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you,
Amen.
guys. And do have a lovely night. Bye.